And these people are nuts. It's not just Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is controlled by people like AOC, who believes that the biggest hardship in life was figuring out whether it was still or sparkling. And you don't know hardship until you've cried in the back. I was thinking, I was like, geez, I am so glad I did not have to do that in my former career. Yeah. That was our biggest problem in the mountains of Afghanistan, was figuring, do we offer them still or sparkling? And what if they don't like it? It's rough out there, man. That's Congress these days. We cannot give these people control. We cannot give these people control.
So that was Texas Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw attacking AOC because she is a working class woman who's worked as a bartender and a waitress and a server and those sorts of things. And it's an absolutely disgusting line of attack, I have to say. But fundamentally, it shows the hypocrisy that so many Republicans have when it comes to supposedly supporting the working class. Here you have Dan Crenshaw at an event for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler trying to get two very wealthy insider trading Republicans reelected to the Senate. And he's going on and on and on about how this bartender, her biggest challenge was knowing the difference between still water and sparkling water. And, people like me, I served in Afghanistan and these sorts of things. So obviously she has bigger struggles than I do, as he says sarcastically. But, this is coming at the same time that the Republican Party is trying to present itself as the real party of the working class. You've seen Donald Trump and even people like Ted Cruz say that, we're the party of real working people. The Democrats are the party of the college-educated elite. They're the party of the big cities. They're the party of the white-collar people. They're the party of government workers. But we're the party of blue-collar people that work hard with their hands, with their bodies, put in a good day's work, and just want to live their lives as freedom-loving Americans. And we are the party for them. And that is BS, not only because they oppose higher minimum wages, they oppose good health care for working class people, they oppose making it, they want to make it harder for workers to join unions and these sorts of things. But it's also clear here that when you listen to Republicans talk about actual working class people when they find themselves in the House of Representatives, then all of a sudden they're woefully unqualified to be there. It's obviously hypocrisy and disingenuousness when you have this party that supposedly says, oh, the Democrats don't understand you. They don't understand the struggles of working class people. And then you have a young Latina woman whose most recent job before she went to Congress was working as a bartender. And you have other people like Cori Bush, who's about to join Congress as a nurse. And then when those people dare speak up to Republicans, to conservatives, all of a sudden now, AOC's just a dumb bartender who doesn't know what she's talking about. And how dare she criticize Donald Trump, who's a very successful businessman, or all these Republicans who are very successful lawyers, or these sorts of things. How dare they criticize them? How dare these working class women of color criticize these men that clearly deserve to be there more than them? So that's the Republican tension there. They want to say they represent the working class, and yet most of their representatives are not working class people and have an actual disdain for the working class. Let's be 100% clear. When Republicans say working class, they mean a certain definition of working class that excludes the majority of the actual working class. They are referring to a quasi-mythical in some way, definition of the working class, which includes a conservative, blue-collar, white Christian man. And those people exist, don't get me wrong, but they are not necessarily the entire working class, and they might not even be the most numerous example of the working class, because working class people are often women. They're often people of color. They often work in service industries, maybe then they work more in primary industries or in manufacturing. Working class people are the people that work at McDonald's. They work at your bars. They work at your restaurants. They work at your call centers. And these people are not exclusively women, but they are more often women than men. And most of the people that work for minimum wage or slightly above it are women and people of color in particular. So, when you think of working class people, Republicans want you to have this vision of like a white guy in denim overalls, but that's not necessarily the full vision anymore. And I think part of this comes down to the fact that they don't want you to think that the working class is the most diverse class, that the working class is the only class potentially that actually reflects the diversity of the entire United States. It's the only class that includes major portions of every population, every orientation, every gender identity. They are fully included in the broad working class. And often, in roughly proportionate numbers. There's tons of people of color and white people in the working class. The elites, they're almost entirely white, for example. So that's a real important distinction right now. And so what you're seeing is a Republican Party wanting it both ways. AOC is just a dumb, stupid bartender who doesn't belong in Congress, while they're the party of working class people. It's how Donald Trump said, I love the poorly educated. I love, the sorts of people that are blue collar folks that voted for me, but there were no blue collar folks in his cabinet. There were no blue collar folks among his elite leadership. And Trump would always say, well, those people don't have any place here. I want billionaires and millionaires and successful people, quote unquote. But AOC is a threat to Dan Crenshaw, and she's a threat to the Republican Party because she makes real the reality that the working class is diverse and their interests are united around economic and social and political justice, something the Republican Party in its entirety opposes.